It's been 10 years, a decade on YouTube that's completely transformed my life and business. And what started as simple tutorials for my clients has evolved into a multi-million-dollar business without chasing views, without really playing the algorithm game, and without relying on AdSense revenue from day one. So back in 2015, I started making YouTube videos out of pure desperation. I was drowning in client meetings and busy work, and I had no time to breathe. So I created tutorial videos to help my clients without having to go to another meeting or get on a client call. And I really had no idea that this move made out of pure necessity and desperation would lead to over $30 million in revenue. And I want to show you exactly how I did it. And truthfully, at the core of this strategy is what I call the peace, purpose, and profit trifecta. And I'm really excited to share it because I've never talked about it publicly before. But before I dive into all of the details and share how this happened, so you can implement it for yourself, I've created a free masterclass that breaks down how you can take your unique knowledge and skills and turn it into a successful business. Just comment masterclass in the comments below and we'll send you the link to access it on demand. So in this video, I'm going to distill everything I've learned about building a sustainable and profitable YouTube channel. And I've tested this approach not only with my own channel, but with thousands of clients across every niche imaginable. And this is the exact blueprint that has helped people like Linda, who went from zero when we started working together to nearly 1 million subscribers, and Margarita and Dixon, who replaced their salaries as attorneys with less than 5,000 subscribers, and Allison, who transformed her income so dramatically that what used to be her yearly goal is now what she's earning on a monthly basis. So if you've been struggling to monetize your YouTube presence, or you want to start this the right way, this very well may be the most valuable 20-ish minutes of your YouTube journey. So let's start with actually rethinking YouTube. So many people think this is just an entertainment platform, but they're missing the bigger picture. YouTube still stands as the second largest search engine in the world, owned by the largest search engine, Google. And now more than ever, it's defining its place as the go-to pillar of video platforms. Because in a world of quick hit information and fast scrolling feeds, people are drowning in information and they're seeking out people who actually take the time to help them, explain things to them, and get them where they want to go, which is why YouTube remains so powerful and valuable in the age of AI. It's the most human platform you can imagine. Literally, it's called YouTube. So every day, over 3 billion people are coming to YouTube actively seeking solutions. They're typing questions like how to scale a business with limited resources, or how to rebuild trust in a relationship, or how to renovate a bathroom on a budget. They're not passively scrolling for entertainment. They're actively hunting for answers. So understanding this completely changed my approach to YouTube. Instead of creating content that I thought people might enjoy, I started creating content I knew people were actively looking for and searching for. That's when everything shifted. My views became more targeted, my subscribers became more engaged, and my revenue truthfully skyrocketed and created predictable income, which feels almost impossible on a platform like YouTube in the traditional sense. So when you position yourself as the solution provider for a specific audience, the authority who delivers exactly what people are searching for and allows them to finally take a breath and stop doom scrolling for answers everywhere they're looking, you really can build a business that generates consistent, predictable income without needing millions of subscribers or views. And I know that sounds so opposite of probably what you hear most of the time. So that's where the trifecta comes in that I mentioned earlier. But before I can get into that, what is the best way to monetize YouTube? Well, one of the biggest myths is that the best and only way to make money on YouTube is through AdSense or affiliates or brand deals. But nothing can be farther from the truth. All you have to do is look at the numbers. The average YouTuber makes 1 to 3 cents on average per view through AdSense. And that means you get 100,000 views, you'll make about $1,000 to $3,000. Not bad, but not exactly life-changing. And you know how hard it is to get to 100,000 views, so it's a rarity. So I recently shared that with over 500,000 subscribers, I was averaging like $2K a month from AdSense. And that math just doesn't really math for me. Meanwhile, my business was generating 450 to 500,000 plus on a monthly basis from YouTube. So make that make sense, right? So I do things very differently. Instead of chasing massive subscriber counts, I focus on the dollars generated per subscriber or per viewer. And the way I maximize this is by attracting the right people, providing them with excellent content, valuable content, and then offering them a clear path to work with me further if that's something they're interested in. So YouTube then becomes the vehicle that drives traffic to my business, but it's not the entire business model. This way, I'm not dependent, and I truthfully, I know it sounds weird, I don't really care about YouTube's algorithm, which quite frankly is super liberating because the algorithm is like a roller coaster. By taking the interest I garner on YouTube and monetizing it off the platform, it means I'm in control of my income, my time, and my impact, and I become the boss. In the beginning, my whole motto was be your own boss. I become the boss of the algorithm, and the algorithm is no longer the boss of me. And I'm definitely not alone in succeeding with this model. And while there are lots of examples, this one paints a pretty picture that I want to share. So Allison, who I mentioned earlier, she went from making $30,000 a year in revenue to making that monthly in her business by monetizing her knowledge through an online program and using YouTube to drive her ideal viewers and clients to her offer. So her business has shifted completely away from what was affiliate marketing and AdSense to a much more sustainable model that puts her in control of her income. If you want to know how Allison implemented this strategy, it all started with attending our free masterclass that shows you exactly how to turn your knowledge into a sustainable business without burning out. So just comment masterclass below and we'll send you the link to access it on demand. So let's talk about the wrong way to approach YouTube, especially when you're focused on actually monetizing it sustainably. When you're solely focused on monetizing through the roller coaster ups and downs of AdSense or affiliate marketing, you tend to fall into a trap called the content creation hamster wheel, constantly running, working harder, but going nowhere. So here's what it typically looks like. You start by creating a video on a topic you think might be interesting, and then you publish it and hope that it gets views. And then when it doesn't get the traction you expected, you create another random video, and then another and another, changing topics and approaches each time and sort of just guessing and hoping. And eventually you just burn out and you give up because you're so frustrated and discouraged. And this is what I call the publish and hope approach, which ultimately keeps you turning in circles. And it means you're working your butt off, throwing content at the wall to see what sticks without any real strategy behind it. And given that, it's hardly surprising that a recent study showed that 48% of YouTube content creators are burnt out and frustrated because they're generating less than $1,000 a month, despite working incredibly hard. I see this all the time. Talented people, smart people who have valuable knowledge to share, and they're stuck on this hamster wheel, creating video after video without seeing any real results. They're investing hours filming, editing, and promoting their content, but their subscriber count barely moves and their revenue remains minimal. So even when they do get occasional wins, maybe a video that performs slightly better than others, they can't replicate that success consistently because they don't have a systematic approach or a system behind the video. They're operating on guesswork rather than strategy. So the hamster wheel not only exhausts you creatively, it severely limits your income potential. And there's just a better way to do things. So what is the alternative to that exhausting hamster wheel? Well, I call it algorithm domination. You become the boss of the algorithm, not the other way around. So it's about working with YouTube's natural function, not against it. Remember, YouTube is a search engine. People come here looking for answers to their questions, solutions to their problems. And when you position yourself to be found by people seeking your knowledge and skill set, you put yourself in the power position. So here's what the process looks like. First, you need to identify your ideal viewer. Big hint here is your ideal viewer is not everyone. It is a focused niche. What precise problems do they have? What specific questions are they typing into the search bar? Then, instead of creating random content, you create relevant content specifically designed to address their pain points, answer their questions, and solve their problems. And when you do this consistently, something magical happens. The algorithm starts to understand exactly who you are and what you're about. And it starts to learn what kind of content you create and who would benefit from it. And then it starts to work for you. It starts serving your content to the exact people who'd be interested in paying for your expertise through its internal traffic sources: search, suggested, browse. So they all start working for you instead of you having to work so hard to create more content. You actually can create less content and get a bigger return from that content. And this completely flips the game on its head. You're no longer chasing the algorithm. The algorithm then works for you. You're no longer desperate for any views. You're attracting quality targeted views from people who actually need your help. So you stop chasing vanity metrics and you start to recognize that the depth and the quality of your viewers is far more important. So here's the best part. This doesn't require you to have a ton of views or subscribers. It requires you to have quality views and subscribers. Let me give you a real example. So Alex and Beth help people create successful cleaning businesses. After implementing the strategy, their net income doubled in the first month, and they've maintained that growth ever since. And they also eliminated their need for any paid advertising for their business. They were able to save time and money while focusing on serving fewer but more aligned ideal clients for greater impact. And they went on to say, in the last 30 days, doing it the right way, we've done $27,000 in sales in the business, and we're still dialing in our sales flow. So 50K months seem very attainable. Commit to the process, people, thanks to Sunny and the team. So when you first start on YouTube, here's a harsh truth. No one cares about your channel. Literally no one. No one cares about your content. So how do you make people care? By solving their problems and by providing valuable solutions to their most pressing challenges, by positioning yourself as the guide who can help them get from where they are to where they want to be. So this is what I call hockey stick growth. So you start by focusing on search traffic, creating content that addresses a specific pain point or an FAQ, and this builds a baseline of audience members who find you through search results. Then as they subscribe or watch your content, your new videos then get suggested to them. And as your authority grows, YouTube starts pushing your content to more and more relevant viewers through browse and suggested. So the internal traffic sources start working for you. So all of this happens automatically when you work with the natural function of YouTube, as I mentioned. So working with it rather than against it, that's the key here. So now I want to bring it back to monetization, because at the heart of stable and predictable income on YouTube from a decade of experience is what I call the peace, purpose, and profit trifecta, as mentioned earlier. So number one, peace. Escaping the hamster wheel and gaining control. So most people experience burnout chasing views, constantly creating content, and relying on unpredictable AdSense revenue. This business model frees you from that by creating evergreen content that continues to generate leads and revenue long after it's published. So it works for you when you're not working. It also attracts targeted high-value viewers instead of worrying about mass appeal. It builds an independent revenue stream beyond YouTube, so you're not at the mercy of the algorithm. And it eliminates financial stress by creating a predictable, consistent income stream from your knowledge. The second part of the trifecta is purpose. So impacting lives and doing work that actually matters to you. This model is not about chasing virality. It's about delivering value and transformation for a specific audience. You don't just provide information, you help people get real results. So you're identifying your ideal client and create content that directly solves their problems and appeals to them. You position yourself as a trusted authority in your niche because you actually know what you're talking about, and you're not just another content creator. Your work leads to a meaningful transformation for the people who watch, as seen with, Linda's career coaching and Allison's business growth, helping new mamas protect their milk supply. So this approach makes your business fulfilling. You're not just creating content, you are actually changing lives, which brings us to the third piece of the trifecta, which is profit, turning your knowledge into an actually scalable business. So the biggest misconception about YouTube is that it's only profitable through ads, brand deals, sponsorships, affiliates, as we've mentioned. So this model flips this by making YouTube a lead generation machine for a sustainable, high profit business. You're attracting the right audience, people who are ready to invest into transformation. You monetize through an online education business offering premium coaching courses, memberships, whatever it may be, and you maximize your revenue per subscriber rather than chasing millions of views. So your income becomes scalable and predictable, independent of YouTube's fluctuations. For example, who I mentioned earlier, Margarita and Dixon, they quit their demanding jobs as lawyers and replaced both of their salaries with less than 5,000 subscribers and were working half the time by putting this system in place and appealing to the right people and not to all of the people. So the bottom line here is the YouTube business model for peace, purpose, and profit, it's unlike traditional content creation. This approach is really allowing you to work smarter, not harder, focusing on high impact, high value content that builds trust and authority while also strategically monetizing it through education-based business models. This isn't just about making money on YouTube. It's about designing a business and a life that gives you freedom. So that's the peace, purpose, and profit trifecta. So that is at the core of how I've built this very predictable and sustainable business model over the years. And you might be thinking, but if I'm giving out information for free on YouTube, why would anyone pay for my knowledge? Here's the secret. People don't pay for information, they pay for transformation. So when you create content on YouTube, you're demonstrating your knowledge and building a lot of trust in a time where people are seeking that. But you can only teach so much through free content. The real transformation happens with an actual blueprint, a roadmap, and a method that is properly and strategically packaged in the form of an online program. So this is how you bring it all together and you monetize your knowledge without having to rely on AdSense or affiliates or brand deals, as I mentioned. So these aren't isolated incidents that I'm talking about, and I'm not this one-off success story. I've seen this work in virtually every niche, from restaurant owners, animal communicators, yoga instructors, circus performers, the list goes on and on and on. I've been doing this a long time. The common thread, though, is this. They all leverage YouTube to build authority in their niche, then monetize that authority through an online education business. Now that you understand the peace, purpose, and profit trifecta, let's talk about the specific content that you should be creating. And this all starts with the transformation we discussed earlier. So how will you help your ideal viewer go from 0 to hero? So to nail this down, I would really encourage you to create a transformation statement. And it looks like this. It goes, I help ideal client or viewer go from 0 state to hero state so that they can achieve desired feelings and outcomes. So this simple statement becomes the foundation for all of the content you create. It ensures that every video is relevant to your ideal viewer and moves them closer to working with you. So for example, if you're a relationship coach, your transformation statement might be, I help couples on the brink of separation go from constant conflict to loving communication so they can rebuild trust and enjoy a fulfilling partnership. And with this statement, you know exactly what kind of content to create. Content about communication strategies, rebuilding trust, managing conflict. So it becomes your North Star to ensure that your content is all in alignment and actually of super high service. So in addition to your transformation statement, it's essential to understand another concept, what I call the content scaling funnel. So the idea behind the content scaling funnel is that your audience, they're not all in the same place on their journey. You will have cold, warm, and hot leads depending on their situation. It's important that you create content that speaks to each group. So at the top of the funnel, you have your cold leads. People are just becoming aware of their problem. And for these viewers, you want to create content that addresses sort of broad and beginner pain points of the basic concepts. So the call to action here would be, let me help you out further with a PDF, a guide, or a checklist so we can get those people from seeing you on YouTube to actually becoming a part of your email list. And then you can own your audience there on your email list. And that's going to give you a huge advantage as you grow your business. And in the middle of the funnel, you have warm leads, people who know they have a problem and are actively looking for solutions. And for these viewers, you want to create something more in depth that showcases your knowledge and methodology. So something like a call to action to drive them to a webinar or a free training session. So you're still building your email list, a potential client pipeline, but also nurturing the folks who aren't quite ready to actually invest in taking the next step with you. And at the bottom of the funnel, you have hot leads. So people who are eager to solve their problem now. So for those viewers, create content that directly addresses their objections and shows what's possible when they work with you. So the call to action here is to book a call or to purchase your program. And the beauty of this approach is that you're meeting people exactly where they are in their journey and providing value every step of the way and giving them a clear next step that makes sense for their current situation. And remember, the goal isn't to reach everyone, it's to reach the right people. So this is what I mean when I say I want you to be a big fish in a small pond. By focusing on a specific niche, you become the go-to expert in that space, making it much easier to stand out and attract your ideal clients. So I've tested creating all different kinds of content, and I have been your guinea pig. I've played with making a few videos a week and just one video a week. And I will tell you this, YouTube craves quality, not quantity. It's not like other platforms where you need to constantly upload content to be seen. YouTube wants content that took thought to create and provides a wealth of value to the viewer. So I've found that less is more. And when I say quality, I don't mean production value. I have filmed in $1 million sets and in my living room, and I can tell you authenticity wins. People are here to relate to you as a person. They don't want to be wooed by fancy sets or false advertising. Be who you are. Again, it is called YouTube for a reason. So what I love most about what I'm sharing with you and being able to really reflect and distill 10 years of being on this platform, it's allowed me to really see that what I've built and what I help other people build is keeping the definition of success that I have in mind, which is peace. If I'm not peaceful, I'm not successful. And to see the ripple effect that it's had on thousands of people all over the world is truly mind-blowing. If I could have told myself 10 years ago that a move made out of necessity and desperation, so I didn't have to get on another client meeting and take up more time in an already very jam-packed schedule of what I thought was success at the time, which was just being busy, I never would have believed I'd be here today. But I'm hoping that by sharing this, I am the proof that your future self will thank you for taking big, brave action and doing this in the right way. The possibilities are limitless when you leverage this platform in a very strategic way. When you use it as a tool to build authority and attract ideal clients, and you have a clear intention and purpose behind it, rather than just trying to monetize through the breadcrumbs of AdSense or affiliate links. The beauty of this approach is that it works really in any niche. You don't need to be teaching people how to make money in order to make money for yourself. You just need to be providing real value and solving real problems for real people. So Chelsea, she teaches oil painting. Linda helps with career development. Alex and Beth teach people how to build cleaning businesses. Allie teaches yoga. Jeffrey helps men with their relationships. These are all wildly different niches, but the principles remain the same. Identify your expertise, understand your ideal client, create relevant content that solves their problems, and offer them a clear path to achieve the transformation that they desire. This is how you build a truly sustainable and profitable YouTube channel, one that generates consistent income while allowing you to make a really meaningful impact doing the work that you love. And what a gift that is. I can't believe I'm still doing this after 10 years. Like, I feel very lucky. Very fortunate. So with this video, I'm not just celebrating 10 years on YouTube, I'm celebrating a proven way to create peace, purpose, and profit in your life and in your business. So if you're ready to do the same and you want to take that big, brave action, you can start where everyone else started. And that's with our free masterclass. And we're going to show you how to identify your perfect niche, eliminate competition, and become that go-to authority in your field. Just comment masterclass below and we'll send you the link to access it on demand. Thank you so much for being a part of my 10-year journey on YouTube. Whether this is the first time you're watching a video or if you've been here since the beginning, I would really love to hear from you in the comments because that really is my love language. What are your takeaways? What have you learned from me? I would love to hear it. So here's to the next decade of growth, impact, and transformation together. Be sure to check out this video next on the blueprint to make money on YouTube from day one. I think it'll be really helpful for you. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.